Oh, g'day guys. Just got a bit of time to kill, so I thought I might go and do a meeting preview. I haven't done one for a while. I think there's a few winners to come out of Sunday night's meeting in Launceston. So it's only 7 races, but typical with Launceston racing, there's pretty good depth in the fields, and the races tend to be more truly run than in Hobart. And obviously that makes sort of analysing the form a bit easier, as the cream does tend to rise to the top. We kicked off with a C2 to C3 over the sprint trip. You can see here they've run very good time overall. I'm compliant, very impressive. He's 4 from 4 now in Tasmania. He's drawn the second row every time. If you have a look at his New Zealand form, he does have a bit of gate speed as well. It does go into C4 now, so they tend to get grouped in C4 to C6 races, which currently are as strong as any grade of racing in Australia for country assessed. So if we just think that in that grade now, you've got actually race 2 was a C4 to 6, so you've got the likes of Rock and Roll Turbo, Lockaway Casey, Illegal Immigrant, Usain Jolt, Zukov Lees, off the top of my head, so it's just very deep races, so going to be on a tough mark, but crikey, looks a very promising horse. A couple in the race, I think, will be like Inner Light's ultra consistent in this grade, and once again boxed on well. There's a couple here well worth following though, in the form of Haley's Comet, who's had 2 runs since a spell and gone super in both of them. We might go and watch the replay and we'll just point them out.
Mobile heads to the back for race 1.
So Haley's Comet draws 2 on the second row, the retro colours. So you can see it's pulls 1 out, 2 back. As the favourite comes out, he pulls out in front, goes to the death and maintains the death. And if you know the horse's racing pattern, he's generally a lot better with cover. He's got very good speed. You can see he works around pretty easily and posts the favourite. You see there's a couple along the fence that chase home all right, but he boxes on. Remember this, they're not going to go any quicker than this for this grade, and both first and second are as good as you're going to copy in this grade. And he's a lot better driven cold. He gets tired late, but there's another one in the race here. We'll point out Origin Billy. You can see making very good ground late. But you can see he boxes on okay. Look, no Apache Me, he's a dangerous horse when he gets the right run. Sat 3 back the fence and still couldn't mow him down. So, yeah, very happy to follow him. Actually, if we have a look at his first up run, it was in, just go to the replays. It's the last Launceston meeting. It was either race 1 or race 2. I think it was race 2. Having all sorts of trouble here with the cursor. Here we go.
Patch you mean at $3.80 now. Mobile picks up speed now.
So you can see draws inside the second row here. And he drives through and trails the leader. Which is guesstimate. And if we just sort of scroll to the last lap, you see the leader's collapsed in his face here. He runs 7th, I think his actual finishing position was, but if he watched the run, I think it's a fair argument he should have actually won. So you can see where he is now, and he just reefs him to the outside. Actually, watching that, I don't think there's much doubt he should have actually won. So, yeah, he's a definite coming winner. And the other one, as I said, I pointed out in the run, is Origin Billy. You see he drew barrier 12. We went around 100 to 1. And the important part here is he's back in the mobile draw. He does possess very good gate speed. And even the previous run, his sectional times were very good in a pretty hot race. He was in the top 3 or 4 sectional times for the night. So you can see in this race here, like they ran home 28-1. He made very good ground that night as well, out wide at 50 to 1. So I think he's well worth following as well. And as we pointed out in this replay,
Mobile head.
So he draws outside the second row. So he's here, third last. And goes back to the inside here. As I said, this is a pretty hot race, this one. And you can see by the margins, like he's making good ground. And you got Chasing Cheetahs. He's a well-performed horse in this grade. He's finished a fair way in front of the rest. So his horse has gone around at 50 and 100 to 1 these last 2 starts. So we're probably going to get backable odds next time. And as I said, being back in the mobile draw is a huge plus. So they're the 2 to follow out of that race in the form of Haley's Comet and Origin Billy. The second on the card was one of these C4 to 6 races we've alluded to. Rock and Roll Turbo. He's always possessed elite speed for a horse. His gate speed was always a query. Once he led over the mile, they were never going to get near him. The thing about this race is, obviously, they've run pretty good overall time, but they've also run home 56.9, last quarter 27.5. So it's virtually impossible to make ground. And obviously the cream rose to the top. The 3 favourites drew barriers 1, 2 and 3 and controlled the race. And you're not going to make ground when they're running home sub 57, when the best 3 horses are settling 1, 2, 3. There is one in the race, though, in the form of Home on the Bayou. One thing to take into account here, like this is, as pointed out, it's a C4 to 6 race. It was start number 10 for him last night, so he gets back into I think he's back to C2 to 3 grade. We'll just click on him. Yeah, so he's now C3. So obviously they've been updated since last night. So he's dropped a grade. And if we just go have a look at the replay, just keep in mind they ran home
Here for the
56.9 here. Where's the blue colours? And you can see at the start here, he probably had the opportunity to drop 3 back the inside here. Now, if he had gone to the pegs there, it would have made a hell of a difference to where he actually finished. Maybe they were aware it was start 10. He stays in here. Like, he doesn't savage the line, but as I said, it's a race that was fence dominated with the quick sectionals. You can see he's shuffled out to sort of last in the middle here. And he virtually doesn't get clear running the remainder of the race. He would have been 3 back the fence here, with just Chilla Breezes taking that spot. And he actually runs 4th. So here he is here, and so he's still nowhere. Still got a bit of horse left there, actually. Darts back between them, and still doesn't get tested for virtually the entire last 400 metres. So you can see he comes through late there and runs 6th or 7th. So, but as I said, importantly, this is a red hot depth in those fields. He's C4 to 6s at the moment. He drops back to C3. The one thing with him, he's not renowned for his will to win. so you don't never want to jump in at short odds, but he does have good gate speed, and he's also very dangerous with the right run, sit, sprint. So I think well worth following out of that race. But obviously the winner, the top three, sort of well exposed, so pointless sort of delving into their form too much more. The third, times weren't overly flash here. Striker definitely had his chance, as did He's a Rummage. Origin Cronk, I think he's actually been priced on what he did as a 2-year-old. Still run okay. But Miss Atomic Betty went around silly odds. I did have a few coins on her, but she pulled her head off in Hobart the previous start and boxed on quite well. And I don't think she'll probably get the credit she deserved for this win. Like, she might go around silly odds again next
At
time.
$8 first up.
And we'll just go to the... So you can see... We'll just go back a little bit. So you can see she's 1-1, stayed in as the 3 wide lines come, and the death horses collapsed in her face. Now the thing here is the last sort of 100 metres is ultra strong. You see it's a bit carted back a little bit. It's like she's dead fair bolting. You know, you shouldn't be able to sort of get carted back like that at sort of $40. You can see he's just sitting there swinging on her at the moment. He's just waiting to go. Still sitting there. Just pulls to the outside and goes bang. And puts a gap on everything the last 100. Yeah, I think she'll be winning again. Yeah, it's quite impressive. So, and she probably, being big odds, and it wasn't the deepest field you've ever seen, she might sort of go under the radar a little bit. So happy to make her the one to follow out of that race. The fourth, this isn't going to be pretty watching for me. Generally very hard to assess these bunch finishes. Both the Kent Rattray horses, Corrado Cruz and the winner LJ's Monza, like they did a lot of work early. It's a bit strange when you see stablemates declaring one another on 27-7 first split. LJ's Monza, he's very honest. Like his winning record, I think he had one win and what is his? So you can see he's now 2 wins, 11 seconds, 8 thirds. It was obviously 1 win and 19 placings before last night. And even when you watch the race, you can see why he struggles to win, because he just hasn't got a lick of high speed. So it's not that he's a non-winner, it's just that he lacks speed. So there's generally at least one horse in the race who has a soft run and has got more speed late. So, it's never begrudge any of those horses a win, as they're good trials and ultra consistent. So, Corrado Cruz, probably the early burn, told with him in the end, and going to win again soon. Fred's under fire at a soft run, but crikey, I was on Ab's Boy at $19 here, and this is ugly viewing for me. If we just watch this
now, and
draws inside the second row in the orange colours with the black sleeves or pink colours. So he's driving through and starts going a bit rough here as he's trying to muster through, and then gallops. If we just watch how much ground he loses. Now look, he's in a full stretch gallop and goes all the way back to last. Croc, still can't believe I'm on at $19. So, and you can see he's railed up. He's tacked on here. What's that? 6 back the inside and a couple leave the fence. And it wasn't getting held up for a couple of strides on the turn. I think he still would have won. We'll just go forward a little bit. Yeah, no, so just watch this. This is, considering the ground he's lost, and his start before, he actually split a couple of handy horses in this grade, And I wasn't sure if the run was a fluke or not, but if you believe what you see, he should have actually been near favourite in this race. But we got copped sort of 9-8. You see, he tried for a run in the middle there and missed out, and hooks to the outside. And worst part about this for me is that I didn't even get any collect on the each way bet either. He's run 4th, beaten a metre. Yeah, no, that was evil. Like, it's not the strongest race in the world, but, you know, he was obviously well driven to maximise his finishing position after the early break, but he still shouldn't be able to finish off after giving away that much ground early. So he's the one from that race. The 5th, this is a tough race to assess this because they staggered home the last quarter in 30.2. And Bermuda had the best run in the race. It's probably looked an even race on paper. And if truth be told, they've probably first, second, third, and 5th have probably gone as good as each other. Ella Philippe ran home well in that slow sectional. Yeah, but you know, Tissue Spirit probably the best run in the race, considering they put the speed on down the back, but. So there's nothing between them. Like, reverse the barriers, you get different results each time. Keep playing. He's a good, consistent horse. He just lacks a bit of speed, but like if they run home in a race in low 28s, he's never going to win. But if they're running home like 59, like they did here, he had no luck early back to last. So on face value, he looked unlucky, but his just lack of speed can cost him at times. But you know what you're going to get. So, even race, barriers will tell the difference, and, you know, like, you put them all in the same race again next time, and there'd be a line of 5 again at the 100-metre mark, I reckon. The 2-year-old, Max Delight just spanked them. It was good to actually get a better line on Resurgent Storm. He's obviously very lazy and had only done what he needed to win races. Like, he'd never run time at all, but his run last night was a lot better than his finishing position. So, because if we look in, just to put Max Delight's win into context, Resurgent Storm won the Tasmanian 2-year-old males feature, and Creator Moondance won the fillies feature, and he's just smashed them. So he's just going to win for fun in Tasmania. But. You know, good time, so form should stand up. And even a couple, once Jackson Neptune, Joe Khan roll, nothing's been too much between them at all when they've met. So, and if you ignore, it's when you're getting beaten 34 metres in that time, like, they're not going to go anywhere near that time without, you know, the top couple in it. So they've all gone well again, that trio. So. And in the last, obviously, Scooter speaks for itself. But one thing I will say is that that's as impressive a display as a horse I've seen in Tasmania for 5 years. So they just don't go any better than that. Times tell the story. Track record, didn't do it the easy way. Strong on the line after working throughout. He's obviously well related. And a lot of the family do get better as they get older. So, who's a progeny? So, just if we have a look at the progeny. So you can see here we've got sort of Jada Rose is probably obviously the elite one. Corral Shine, Time Seal, you know, a few of these Emma Stewart horses, and obviously the other side of the family as well, like out of Jada Rose, there's a Jada Son and Guaranteed, a Real Diamond had a bit of speed. So, yeah, so obviously very well related. So, yeah, so he's definitely going to be putting his name up in anything he can test. The problem's going to be finding races for him now in Tasmania. Because obviously if he nominates for a mobile, you know, he's just going to scare the rest of them off. So he might have to seek greener pastures interstate, you'd imagine. but it's just good to see him racing at the peak of his powers. To be honest, he's never really run badly. A lot of people said good to see him back, but if he had one average run, like he galloped at Devonport, and then there's the Launceston run here where he's just sort of had the jury was out a little. No, actually, no, sorry, I'm miles away. This race here is first up for a spell, and he went enormous this day. This was track record for the stand, and he worked and attacked for the lead. And in those sectionals when you're first up, it just put the writing on the wall that he was going to be. He was back to his best, and then there's no doubt he should have won this race by. He got beaten 14 metres. He should have at least won by that far. These next three just gone bang, bang, bang with big margins. So he'd never really, apart from this first up run here in Hobart, so I was alluding to, he was pretty plain that night. It's the only real bad run he's ever put in, apart from a couple of runs in Victoria. So, yeah. Now, if you see him on the big island, backing with confidence, no horse going better here. So, just recapping, the horses to follow are Haley's Comet and Origin Billy. This is a C2 to 3. Like Origin Billy's a C1 to 2, and Sam Gangel with a claim can get into C1 races. So hopefully now he's back in the mobile draw. He cops the front. Haley's Comet barrier is not a real issue, as I think he's actually better with cover anyway. In the second, we pointed out Home in the Bayou with the drop back in grade after 10 starts. I think he'll be winning again soon. Miss Atomic Betty, black booking a winner. It's not exactly rocket science, but sometimes we overlook the obvious. And she went round at big odds. A lot of people might put it down to a fluke, but she was very strong on the line, and she didn't have everything go away in the run. So I think she might sort of fly under the radar of a few. And Ab's Boy, I don't think too many missed a run, but obviously you have to go from what you've seen. So I think they're the ones out of the first 4 races there that, just repeating, Ab's Boy in CO to C1 grade, Miss Atomic Betty still in the same grade against her own sex, hopefully. His mare's races aren't exactly the strongest at the moment in Tassie. Home on the Bayou, and the couple in the first, Haley's Comet and Origin Billy. So anyway, I will wrap it up there. So as I said, just need to kill a bit of time. So I don't know whether to keep doing these or not. So just try and make a format that lets people make up their own minds going forward. So, and with a little bit of video, the old saying, a picture tells 1,000 words. So you can write as much as you like, but seeing's believing. So hopefully you don't mind that format. So I will leave it there. So until next time, we'll chat to you then. Cheers, guys.